To set up and sync reference and multiple reference fields in PowerImporter, firstly, I need to set up linked records in Airtable. I need 2 tabs, at least in my base. Here we have blog posts and blog categories. I'm going to create a new field, link to another record, give it a name, and I'm going to untick the option allow linking to multiple records because that's a single reference field. Create the field, and I will skip the lookup field because I don't really need it. And now I can actually select a block category, one block category from the ones which are presented here, which are taken from the categories tab, and I can select one per blog post, one per row. Once I've done that, I can head over to the blog categories tab, and I will actually see a new field has been automatically created that shows which blog posts are linked to each category. Same for the multiple category reference field. I will set up a new field, give it a name, and now leave the option allow linking to multiple records because I want to link to several categories. Skip the lookup field, and now I can actually select several blog categories, as many or as few as I want. From the blog categories tab, all these options are presented here automatically by Airtable. They are pulled from the categories tab. So I can select them manually. I don't need to save, it's actually saved automatically. Once I've done that, I can also go and check in the blog categories tab, and actually I will see a second field which has been created automatically, showing all the blog posts related to each category. And that's it. This is now set up in Airtable for the linked records. I will now head over to my Webflow collection settings, blog posts collection settings, add a new field, reference field for a single reference field, give it a name in the label category, in the label. Select the collection I want to reference to. This collection needs to exist already. Save the field and save the collection. I forget to do that every time. So save collection. Go back to the settings, and for a multiple reference field, do the same. Add a new field. Select multiple reference field. Give it a name in the label section. Select an existing collection to reference to. This collection needs to be set up already in Webflow. Save the field and save the collection. And now you have a single reference field and a multiple reference field set up in Webflow. Now in PowerImporter, I'm going to configure my Airtable sync. Choose the Webflow site. Choose your Airtable base. Map your Airtable views to Webflow collections. They will be pre-indicated by PowerImporter. Once I'm done, I will now map my Airtable fields to my Webflow collection fields. So PowerImporter will actually give you all the possible options for each type of field. So left-hand side is Airtable field, right-hand side is Webflow field. And I'm going to map as many or as few of the fields I want. The only requirement is that at least the name is mapped for each of the Webflow collections. Once that's done, I'm going to save and continue. I can now click on test and review before I sync to make sure that everything's okay. So this is a simulation which will last a few seconds, and PowerImporter will tell you whether everything's mapped correctly and if there are any potential errors. Here everything's valid. I can view the detail. So this is the detail of what would be imported, what would be synced through PowerImporter, and I can view detail of each field and the content being synced over to Webflow. This is a simulation. If I'm happy with it, I can go back and click on sync. This will last a few seconds, but this time this is the real sync. So we are transferring content from Airtable to Webflow, and the same, I will be able to see the logs, the detailed logs of what's been synced. So here, 7 Webflow collection items have been created, and I can view the details, and there are 4 blog categories and 3 blog posts as I had in my Airtable. And I can see the detail of each field if I want to, blog posts, blog categories, and I can check everything. So everything looks fine. And if I'm satisfied with this, I can even go over to Webflow to actually look at the reference field. So here you go. The blog posts have been actually published in Webflow. And if I click onto one, I can now see the reference field. There is one reference in the single reference field, and there is multiple references in the multiple reference field. You can see from the purple boxes and the gray box for the single reference field. And that's it. Everything's done perfectly.